interesting moment there with John, kind of in a jovial spirit today. What did you think of that?
I don't know. He came back. He seems like he's in a good mood. I just talked to him for a minute. I just got here, but seems like he's in a good mood.
Should be, right, with the big announcement, Gatorade.
Yeah, his life doesn't suck, right? He's got a lot to be happy about.
What do you think about that? A major sponsor coming in? I mean, being obviously the sponsor of him, not of the UFC, but I mean, that's still got to be a proud day for you too.
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, we let it happen. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's getting all the big ones too. Him and George St. Pierre have some serious sponsors. I like it.
Dana, Gustafsson is a huge underdog for this fight. I know the bookies are making odds to get people to make bets, but do you feel that Gustafsson's being a bit disrespected?
I don't know. John Jones is really good. You know, I think that they're making lines that they don't want a lot of money going on Jones because they think Jones is going to win. So you know, that's the way the book works. Jones is good, really good.
Dana, if you can just comment a bit coming off of Saturday's the Mayweather scorecard, there seems to be a bit of a shakedown right now.
Isn't that funny? There's a shakedown when they make a mistake in boxing, right?
Well,
now all of a sudden everybody's going to lose their job when they make a mistake in boxing, but you know, they can screw our stuff up all the time.
In an indirect way, though, do you not somewhat benefit from this, where it's going to be more of a thorough process here?
Yeah, I think things are going to change. I think things are finally going to change in Nevada.
Dan, did you see the day when your fights are all about the purse, which is what the Mayweather fight was all about?
You know, I don't know if that fight was all about the purse. Obviously, the purse was pretty crazy. It's, you know, and now the talk is that they broke the record, that they did break the pay-per-view record. It's that this thing might come in around 2.6, 2.7, which is amazing. And it's one of those things that I always say. I was rooting for him, and I was joking. I said, I hope you guys do 3 million. They almost did 3 million. And it just sets the bar where if you have that fight was the perfect storm. You had this Mexican that entire country was behind. You had this guy who hasn't lost a fight in 17 years and is really good at selling fights. And it's amazing what the potential is for the right fight.
Did you see your guys making that kind of?
You know, given that people paid $75 to watch that last week, how does that affect your show?
So the question is how many of those buys were Hispanic? You know, a lot of Hispanic buys there, and I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be great for me. It's not like, you know, everybody's got a bunch of pay-per-view cash laying around, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it affects us.
Then if Alexander wins this, what can he expect in the near future? What's going to happen?
He's going to be the champion, and his life's going to change. Maybe he'll get Gatorade.
In what way is his life going to change?
When you have that belt, everything changes. Everything changes when you're the champion. You know, obviously the attention, the money, everybody's gunning after you. There's a lot of pressure. You know, the John Jones, hate to take your Alexander question and flip it to John Jones, but John Jones has really turned around and changed his life in the last year. He's a young guy, got that belt. You saw what happens when fame and money and all that stuff starts to come together. And I'm really happy with the way he's turned around.
To flip back,
you know, you'll see the pressure that goes on Alexander if he wins that belt.
to go back to what you were saying, you know, a couple of years ago you had the Dallas show that you went against Mayweather, and you know then Nick kind of won with Nick Diaz fought. So or Nick Diaz
knew
fought.
the minute that fight was called, I was like, we're not. We tried to figure out where we wanted to fall.
Yeah.
Did we want to land before that fight? Did we want to land after that fight? Because if you going up against a big fight like that, if you go before, they take up all the cross-channel marketing. They're going to get all the cross-channel marketing. So we felt it was better to land behind them instead of in front of them.
So going forward, is that what you would do, or do you have to look at how you do
It
the
depends
show
on the
before you
fight.
decide?
Depends on the fight. I mean, there's tons of boxing fights that'll happen that we wouldn't sweat.
Right.
The minute that one got announced, we knew that was a sweater.
Because you know he's fighting Cinco de Mayo again, he said. So
Yeah.
you know, so when you go there, does your plan? Like
But you see one of the fights that we saw last weekend. I mean, honestly, if you could be a part of one of those fights in your lifetime, you know what I mean? It was that big, it was that crazy, and everybody involved in that fight did an amazing job. Even my boys at Showtime, they did a great job.
Dana, TJ Grant, as you know, has missed out on a couple of big fights because of injuries. If he's healthy again, will he still get
He's
for?
going through the same thing that Anthony Pettis went through. Anthony Pettis went through the same thing. It's one of those unfortunate things that can happen in a contact sport. we're not going anywhere. You know, kid's just got to take his time, heal up, relax, and you know, we'll see what happens. Carlos Condit went through this. Chuck Liddell went through this at one point. You know, this happens.
Is it going to be a matter of timing and?
No, I'm saying things that happen to you, things that unfortunate mishaps that when you have the big, look at Dominic Cruz. I mean, when you have the biggest fight of your life coming up and all these things start going wrong for you, it happens, you know?
But the way you're phrasing that, it kind of seems like you're leaning away from him getting the title shot when he comes back.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying these things happen. And you know, I'm sure he's really upset about it and it's driving him crazy, but, you know, Dominic Cruz did that season of The Ultimate Fighter against Uriah Faber and was supposed to fight on the Anderson Silva Chael Sonnen 2 and get a piece of pay-per-view. That kid lost his lottery ticket. You know, these things happen. Bad things happen like this. You know, it's part of the sport. There's nothing you can do about
Why
it.
does the NFL have such an issue with concussions? Though, you know, you rarely hear UFC fighters being out for extended periods of time, and yet you're getting kicked and punched in the head. Why is it different?
Well, the difference is that we're regulated by the government. When a guy gets knocked out or has anything like that, you're out for 3 months. 3 months with no contact, and before you can come back, you have to see a doctor again. In the NFL, they couldn't lose Peyton Manning for 3 months. You know, it'd be the end of their season, or Tom Brady, or another key player. It's just different. This sport's different. We're regulated by the government. And people keep asking me, so I can squash this before somebody else asks me, people keep asking me about the lawsuit that the NFL had. The NFL was holding back evidence of what concussions do to people from the players. We're regulated by the government with doctors that are put in by the government to test these guys and check them out and make sure everybody's healthy.
And just your concern about the guys. I know you have great concern for them and their well-being. What about in the gym? You know, because guys sometimes that's where they say the most
damage is done. No, it's true. And here's the thing: it's like PEDs and many other and other types of drugs. We can't babysit everybody. We can't police grown men. We can't, you know, we can lay down the rules. And if you were on a 3-month suspension because you were hit in the head or whatever your deal is in a fight, and you go back into the gym and start sparring again, first of all, you're a moron. Let's start with that. Number two, the people who handle you probably don't care about you. And you know, there's a lot of things that stack up to what would make a guy go in there and do that. It's just absurd, but we can't police that.
TJ was saying last week that honesty is the most important thing in these situations from the fighter. Because if they're not honest themselves, then they can't get back to where they need to be.
I agree. And going in and pushing yourself and saying, you know what, I don't want to miss this opportunity, so I'm gonna hurt myself to do it. It's ridiculous. We're not going anywhere. The belt's gonna be there no matter who has the belt. It will be there, and TJ Grant will figure the TJ Grant thing out when TJ Grant is healthy.
What was the rationale between Thompson had a shot over other people in the division?
Like who? Everybody else has had a shot at the title. You know what I mean?
Dos Anjos is on a winning streak.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Was it because of the trash talk between Pettis and Thompson, or was it just availability?
Yeah, we just felt, Thompson was the right fight at the right time.
Was he close to maybe getting another shot?
Yeah, well, Melendez just fought too. Melendez just fought for the title. Yeah, it wasn't against. We're trying to go everywhere, and obviously, right here, right now, I couldn't honestly tell you about Poland, where we are in Poland, but yeah, we're coming to Poland too. I just don't know when.
But it's 2014 because it was like almost official information. The UFC will come to Poland.
Right. We've been this close to going to the Philippines and a couple other places, and things fell through, last minute, whether it was a sponsor or whatever. So, yes, we are planning on coming to Poland. I don't know if it'll be 2014. We're working on it.
The receipt of success what was the receipt to achieve success?
Well, first of all, I think that like we said a long time ago, we believe this thing works everywhere. It's an exciting sport, and we put on a great show, live event, and on television, and it just resonates. It resonates with human beings. Doesn't matter what color you are, what country you come from, what language you speak. Everybody likes it, and it works everywhere. I guess that's the recipe.
Do you know Palma, the player, the competitor, which fight for the September? We gave fight with Chipping out. Do you remember that?
No.
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 Okay. And do you know any Polish competitors who play on UFC 165 or only mentioned? Do you know him? Maybe?
Do I know him?
Yes.
Ivan
Fighting on
Putski.
UFC.
Yeah, Ivan Putski.
Polish power, baby.
Dana, you know, in Sweden, a lot of people don't understand how big this is, the fight between Jones and Gustafsson. Can you try to convince them?
It's big, huge. Believe me.
Why is that?
Well, first of all, this fight, a lot of people have been criticizing John Jones for a long time, saying he's too big for this division. He makes 205 pounds. He's not too big for the division, number one. Number two, Gustafsson is actually taller than him, almost matches him in reach and length and everything else. So if he beats Gustafsson, they can't have that argument anymore. And obviously, for Gustafsson, John Jones is about to break the record for most title defenses, unless Gustafsson beats him on Saturday night and becomes the new light heavyweight champion. And it would be the first Swedish champion ever. So.
And what if Gustafsson wins this fight? How is that going to affect his life, do you think?
If he wins this fight, he becomes the world champion, and sponsorship, money, opportunities. I mean, everything changes. Once you get that belt, your life changes big time.
Would Jones get an automatic rematch?
There's never any automatic rematch clauses. We would go by, how the fight goes.
Does it
that
help?
kind of a fight that deserves a rematch?
Does it help the development of the sport into Europe if he wins it as well?
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't hurt it. Having him the champion in Sweden, it definitely wouldn't hurt the European growth.
Would you have a defense over there?
We would have to. Plus, I mean, Sweden's awesome. I mean, every time we've done an event over there, it's been amazing. And yeah, we would for sure.
And do you have any updates on Dominic Cruz and how it looks?
First of the year, I hope.
Yeah, and, for the longest time, you stood behind him and said, "We're not taking this guy's belt away. We're not." And then lately, you've kind of said, "Well,
it's
maybe
getting to the
tomorrow."
point now where it's just like, if he can't fight at the beginning of the year, we got to pull the trigger.
And it's no indictment on him. It's just a matter of.
It's been 2 years. I mean, a lot of people think we're crazy for holding up the title this long, but it's a tough thing to do, to take a title away from somebody. It's hard to do.
If you had to make that call, do you know what you do? Would you just make whoever wins this fight the champ, or would you have another title fight that was like the actual belt? Or?
Well, no, the interim champ would become the champ, and then he would defend the title against whoever was next.
Is there thought in the UFC of raising the purses?
Is there a thought in what?
In the UFC of raising purses and sort of the bottom line?
To 41 million?
Well, just the respective fighters' purses, starting from the low end. And
yeah, every time there's a new contract negotiation, we're raising a purse.
So guys now are making more, generally speaking, than they were a year or two.
Every time a fight happens, there's guys making more, yeah. When a guy wins a fight, he doesn't go backwards, he goes forward. And all this talk, I know I'm going to be hearing this shit forever now because these guys just did it's 41 guaranteed. When this is said and done with pay-per-view, Floyd will make almost $100 million. And, that's just...
So you were expecting, because of what Mayweather and the whole fight was, before the fight was about money, you were sort of expecting the guys were going to come up to you and say, these boxing guys are making this much money, what are you guys making?
The boxing guys aren't making that much money. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You got a couple guys. It's always the same thing in boxing. You got a handful of guys that are making the crazy money, and good for them, man. The sport has been around for a long time. But people have to realize, we just started making money in 2007. Do people understand that? We just started making money in 2007. And this is nothing like boxing. It's completely different. We have a league. We go in and open up all these other countries. We spend millions of dollars growing the sport. Money gets invested back into the sport of mixed martial arts here. It doesn't happen in boxing.
Dana, this might sound like a weird question, but it seems like one of the aspects that draws people in Floyd so much is just his money and his lifestyle. Have you ever considered really making like a fight about money? Like, look how much money.
Dana money.
No, yeah.
Look how rich St. Pierre is. Look what he's doing on his free time.
Let's face the facts. Floyd Mayweather, when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, not that many people were interested. When he became Money Mayweather, he became this huge personality. I'm in this business. We create these shows to, sell fights and entice people into these characters and do all this stuff. I watch the show and it's just, Floyd knows how to do it. Floyd took this money side, went out, he'll go out, on one of the shows and bring a stack of money and buy a car and do all these things, and it's entertaining to people. People, whether they like it or they hate it, they're invested in the fight one way or the other, whether they want to see Floyd lose or win. He's done a great job at selling himself that way, and it's just you just can't go out and just start throwing money around and say, all right, let's do this. We're going to turn somebody into a money guy. It just is what it is, and this sport is still so young, and there's so much. We're not even sanctioned in New York. We're not even sanctioned in New York. We've just been on Fox for a couple of years, and we're talking about doing a $41 million payday. It's crazy. It's just,
feedback from fans on the Ultimate Fighter after the episodes. It seems like Ronda was just this beloved star, and now, and she kind of hinted at some of this, it seems like Misha's gaining a lot of fans, and some people are getting turned off by Ronda just because of the friction and how one is being perceived as opposed to the other. Have you started to notice a shift in fan bases?
No, I haven't. I don't know. I signed Ronda Rousey for a reason. That's why when at first everybody was saying, oh, I had a crush on her. Yeah, I got a crush. Now you see why I signed Ronda Rousey. It's the fight business, man, and she is the reason women fight in the UFC now.
It seems like this season has been very well received thus far, 3 episodes in, and only really truly know how popular it is by the end. But is it almost surprising that it feels like people are even on the show more interested in the storylines involving the women than the men? That there's such a fresh, coat of paint on all of this. Does it make you think that you should do this more seasons, full season with women, other stuff with women?
Well, there aren't enough women to have women every season. But yeah, it's interesting. It's different. Yeah, we hope that would be the case.
Surprising?
No. Once I ended up bringing women in, I don't think anybody's surprised at how the season would go, especially the fights. I mean, the women's fights are always entertaining. They always give 100%, and it just gets better. The season keeps getting better and better and better.
Just think about boxing. Of course, you had your history with the Showtime. Have you changed your stance on them? They've become the king of boxing now. I think there's no doubt about that. Change your views on how they are as promoters, as a network? Are you warming up to them a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know if they've become the kings of boxing yet, but I can tell you this. They've done an amazing job of going after HBO, who has been around for 30 plus years and done what they've done very well. They came in and they took a beating on that first fight, and then this one, I mean, they hit a home run. Every piece of the promotion, from what Floyd did to what Golden Boy did to what Showtime did and what Canelo and his team did, it couldn't have been done any better. It was perfect. It was fun to watch. It was fun to be a part of. And it was fun to see how it all played out. And every one of them, everybody involved in that promotion that made a dime deserves it because they did a great job. I did. I bumped into all the executives. I bumped into all my boys, my buddies, and we exchanged pleasantries. And
did you really?
Yeah, we really did. They actually couldn't have been more hospitable and very cool about everything. So it was a fun weekend for me.
And do you think there'll ever be a day that the UFC fight is capable of doing 2.7 million pay-per-views?
I hope so. I mean, 13 years ago, people were asking me, do you ever think there'll be a day that the UFC could get back on pay-per-view? Do you ever think there'll be a day the UFC could get on free TV? Do you ever think there'll be a day where you'd be doing it in other countries? And here we are now. So yeah, I'd like to believe that yes, we will.
Is it just the right people? Is it on the right day? Is that all it is?
Like I said, we just started making money in 2007. This thing is still, hey, listen, I'm honored that we're always looked at like, why aren't you paying people $41 million? Why aren't you doing 2.7 million buys? That people feel like we should be at that level is, I guess, I'm honored. Yeah.
Speaking of pay-per-views, Bellator is now doing the first pay-per-view. They're saying they're going to charge between $35 and $45. Main event, you know what it is, Tito versus Rampage. Right. Eddie Alvarez versus Michael Chandler. King Mo versus Newton. First off, do you think it's worth the money? Second off, will you be buying it? And third off, what do you think about main event?
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'll wrap all those questions up in one answer. People don't want to watch it for free on TV right now. and they're charging $35 for it. So who knows? Anything's possible, but
You don't even look at this competition as far as the pay-per-view business goes.
no.
What do you think about them signing out the ex-UFC fighters? They said they weren't going to do that, and they signed guys like John last year 0-5 in UFC, Gia Congo, they just signed his headline their card next week.
Yeah. Well, when you know, and I'm not saying this to be, it's just a fact. You start getting desperate when you start losing a lot of money. You start getting desperate. You start throwing shit on the wall and see what's going to stick. You know, they're trying to do whatever they can to try to get some momentum or make some money.
Some people said that Bjorn's not in charge right now. It's Viacom that's calling the shots.
There's no doubt about that. Anybody who thinks it's different is crazy. Viacom, that's Viacom's company and they're running it. That's why I call it Viacom MMA, because that's what it really is.
What do you think of him taking shots at Tito and he's also with ESPN and everything, something like that?
Taking
Does that
shots.
bother you at all? Or no?
I know. I mean, what are they going to talk about? The fight? If Rampage and Tito are on ESPN, what are they going to talk about? The fight? So you guys have lost 9 of your last 10 fight combined. What does this fight mean to you guys? We want to get paid? We want to make some money? We're hoping to sell some pay-per-views? I mean, what else would they say?
I want to ask you one more thing. Michael Chandler, the lightweight champion. Bjorn's promoting as the #1 lightweight in the world. You have Anthony Pettis. I mean, obviously, you would say the same thing if he was your fighter too. But I mean, do you think he's a guy that could potentially step in the UFC and contend for a title at some point?
Well, what's happened to other guys who come over from Bellator and fought in the UFC?
You've seen Hector Lombard lost a couple fights. Level of competition. This is different. How about Ben Askren though? Because you even said that's a guy that you're interested in.
Yeah.
You think he can make some?
You work for Bellator?
No, I don't work for Bellator.
Dan, just a quick question. You love Toronto. Did you come for the maple syrup or?
No, I love Canada, man, and I love this city a lot. It's beautiful, nice places to stay, nice places to shop, great restaurants. I love it up here.
One more final question. I see that you're like a...
I love the media too.
Media too.
Except for that guy.
I see you're good with the ladies and you're a charming guy.
Oh, really?
I'm having problems with dates right now. Do you have any tips to get in shape like you are? My mom says I'm fit.
I love the media up here, man. To get in shape?
Yeah, or just to get ladies dates. And I'm having a problem with that.
What do you work for, Howard Stern?
Well, it's just you
gonna start yelling Baba Booey in a minute?
Oh, it's just it's time to be raw. I'm just having trouble with the dates. If you have any advice, that'd be great.
Shave your head. I'm kidding. I don't know, man. What do you think? I'm some ladies' man or something?
Ronda Rousey, all those girls.
Oh, she's my girlfriend.
No.
Fight's here.
You're always like you have that charm. You're very like confident on camera. So something maybe you can advise me if I have to try to date.
I don't. This is the first time I've ever been stumped at a press conference. You got me at this one. I don't know what to tell you, man. Good luck.
Just lose weight, right? Get
look
like Dolce.
Get on UFC Fit. That'll do it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dana,
to go back into
Longtime WWE announcer Jim Ross, he left the WWE. He's kind of made it public now. He would like to transition over to mixed martial arts. Having that pro wrestling background, is that something you want to shy away from? Would you be open to it, whether it be in front of the camera or behind the scenes?
He's been in the office before and talked to us and stuff. He's a great guy. A lot of the guys from the WWE are really supportive and are fans of the UFC. I don't know. I never even thought about it. I saw it on Twitter and stuff, but I never even thought about it yet.
Dana.
You said that you said that this is a really young sport, but even though it's very popular here in North America, why is that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's exciting and it's awesome and it's fun to watch and it's I don't know.
What do you say about the future then?
The future of the sport? I think it's going to be big. I think we're going to, right now we're in 175 countries, 23 languages, and over 1 billion homes on television worldwide. And I think it's just going to keep getting bigger. Is that good?
Yeah.
Dana.
Can you clarify the Cruz situation? Are you going to put anything in place about these interim titles, or are you going to go by feel in each case?
Yeah, I think we do need to set a standard on what happens if somebody, you know.
And I was thinking about this, and this becomes an issue. You know, if you say, hey, if you don't defend the title in a year, we strip you, then you might get a guy go in the cage unhealthy because he doesn't want to get stripped of the title. I mean, there's always
That's a good point.
Both sides of it. So
That's a good point.
How do you
well,
but if he's guaranteed to come to fight when he comes
right.
back, then
But it would be tough too for him to get in unhealthy. They get checked by doctors. I mean, you really have to. Although Tim Gorman snuck in with an injury, things can happen.
Do you have any idea what that standard might entail? I mean, have you started to kick it around at all?
No.
Then, what do you see in Jose Aldo future? Will he fight Lamas or schedule, or we will wait for the patches?
We'll wait and see what happens, and then we'll go from there.
Dana, what do you think about Jones kind of dismissing Glover as the next title challenger? He said he's not ready for him yet and all that kind of stuff. What do you think about that? Do you think it kind of takes away...
He's not his trainer. He's not his,
But do you think it kind of takes away from Glover's credibility, though, as like a next challenger?
Glover's been around forever. He's on what's his win streak? 20 fight win streak. I think he's ready.
If Alex wins...
He might not be ready for John Jones. John might be right, but he's ready for a title shot, that's for sure.
If Alex wins now, this weekend, is the card he's going to fight at next? Or are you looking at having another card in April in Sweden?
I don't know. We got to see what happens first. I will be predicting no futures here today. I will not be predicting who will win, what will happen, or any of that.
But will you still be back in Sweden next year?
If he wins?
No.
No, I'm kidding. Yes, probably. Sweden is awesome. Every time we go to Sweden, it's a huge success. It's a great place to go. I love the meatballs, and yeah, we'll talk about that.
How big would a fight be in the Philippines?
What's that?
How big would a fight be in the Philippines?
Huge. Be huge. We've been working on that for a long time. Like I was just telling one of these guys over here, it was this close.
Yeah.
This close once, and we bailed, and now it's looking like we're back on again.
But, GSP went there before. He said he couldn't leave his hotel room.
Crazy. Neither could Chuck Liddell. The police had to pull Chuck Liddell out of the streets one day. It's crazy.
Probably not for the first time.
Touche.
Right. Because Cunliffe said that he was going to go there, and then he stayed back, but now he's going to go as kind of like a mentor for them. Is Tough China happening?
Tough China's happening.
What's his role?
Tough China's a go. He's going to be the me in China. He's going to go. They're not the promoter. He's just there. He's there to remind everybody why they're there and what's going on, and
He's going to play that role on the show. He won't go on any episodes. You don't speak for it.
I don't know.
You gotta say, can you be a fucking fighter in China?
That's right. I can't do it, so he's going to have to.
And will it be the same setup where there are two coaches? Because there aren't many options as far as known.
Yep. Tough China's a go. He was in the office 2 days ago, and I walked him through everything with the Ultimate Fighter, and he's ready to go. And he's heading over there.
Do you have any other toughs? I know you got Canada, Australia tryouts, and any other ones that are in the works? Or?
Yeah, we're working on Mexico too.